Okay, this is free phone call day, so I couldn't let the phone just sit while I was calling you back.
Okay.
Okay, so let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready. Go. Go for it.
Okay, all right. Ladies and gentlemen and ladies and gents, got some information for you. This video is concerning mortgages, so it's going to be, let's do the ultimate mortgage update. And the reason why we're going to do it as the ultimate mortgage update, because all of these banks are claiming that people have mortgages on their home and that they've loaned them money at one point in time or the other. 4 weeks ago today, or this past Sunday, said today, 4 weeks ago this past Sunday, Jerome Powell. Many of you guys may or may not know who Jerome Powell is. Jerome Powell is the board director of the Federal Reserve. So he's the chairman of the Federal Reserve. He's the top dog, so to speak. He's put in there by, I think he was put in there by Trump, or somebody put that idiot in there. And, Trump and him have been going at it because Trump is saying that he's not handling the Federal Reserve correctly. All of that's for show. That's a bunch of bull. Trump does not hate this idiot because he's doing everything Trump needs him to do. Now, let's get back to Mr. Jerome Powell and his interview that he did with 60 Minutes. I don't know the website you can go to find the transcripts for this interview with 60 Minutes, but if you can download the 60 Minutes with Jerome Powell, I'm positive you'll find it on YouTube. Take a look at 60 Minutes. During that conversation, they're talking about money and people having financial problems. I so happen to have turned the channel on the television at this precise moment. And so while she's talking to him, Jerome Powell's next words were, yes, we print the money and we create it digitally. Excuse me? I promise you, I'm sitting up here going, what the? This idiot just said that the Federal Reserve prints the money and then they create it digitally out of thin air. You see, the courts have been saying that that whole vapor money theory is just a theory. Well, now we have the head of the Federal Reserve saying it's not a theory anymore. That this bookkeeping credit entry system that they have, that's right, you've been hearing me talk about it for several years, that they created as a bookkeeping entry on the computer. They create it digitally. Well, now we have the head of the Federal Reserve, whom all of the banks are members of, National Association members. They are member banks of the Federal Reserve. That is what USC 411, Title 12 says. They are member banks. So he's saying that they, the member banks and the Federal Reserve, create money digitally. Now let me ask you, because many of you may not understand how powerful of a statement that was by the chairman of the Federal Reserve, that they print money, pay attention, and that they create money. That's a violation of the Commerce Clause, because the Commerce Clause only permits Congress to print money and to create money. Now some of you are going to stop right there and you think you're going to be able to run. No, you can't run a marathon with this information, because guess what? If you take a look at the Presidential Proclamation 2039 and the March 9th, 1933.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Known as the Amendment to the Trading with the Enemies Act, it does allow the Treasury to designate this and that. And so, yes, the Treasury designated the Federal Reserve. So if you have a court case, if you have a mortgage, do the subpoena, ask them to provide proof and put Jerome Powell's statement. I would even put a copy of that little snippet of the video. I would splice that video, put it on disk or a flash card or something, and send it to them and say, hey, I need you to provide this information. Where are you getting this money from? Who gave you the power to create this money? How much digital currency have you created, and to whom have the bulk of this digital currency gone to, and who's documenting how much digital currency is being created, and what's the regulation for how much digital currency can be created? Because did you not pay attention when this coronavirus hit? They said that they put over $3 trillion to shore up the market. $3 trillion. You remember how they gave out those trillions of dollars to the people? I kept asking everybody, where are they getting the money from? They have a deficit. They are in debt. So if you have a bank account and you only have $200 in there, how can you loan somebody $800? You don't have the money to loan someone $800. All you can do is loan them the $200. Well, the United States had already said that the national deficit was $24 trillion. So where did they get this other $6 trillion plus another $8 trillion to be given out to people? Because they've been creating the money digitally. And that's what he just said. So if the subpoenas are done the right way and the questions are asked the right way without all that garbage that people put in things, with all that basic, I think I know better stuff, then I think you will get some headway. Because remember, creating money digitally, the currency has no value. That's why the Treasury can put on its website that legal tender has no value. It's not redeemable. I didn't say that. And it says that it is not backed by anything. It has no value. So if it has no value, where's the value in the contract for the mortgage? Because every contract must have value and consideration. If you don't believe me, just do your research on it. Just type in value and consideration, and it will explain it to you. It is the law. Every contract must have value and consideration. Well, if the bank loans you money, prove that it wasn't digital currency. Because digital currency has no value. You can't loan me something that is of no value. So when you are looking at all of these billionaires, because remember, there are so many billionaires on the planet right now, more than ever before, now you see how they became billionaires. Okay? Now you see how they became billionaires. They're not billionaires because they actually own currency. Now you can understand why an individual can take their tax write-off and receive a refund. Okay? Now you can understand. But prior to that, you can't understand because you didn't know. Now the courts have been calling this vapor money. So I would actually entitle my motion to the court who said that my argument was vapor money. I'd say vapor money issue resolved. Proved true by the chairman of the Federal Reserve. Okay? But all you have to do is get a copy of that video. I have a copy of the transcripts here. I had the wonderful person who's been assisting me send it to me. And so I have a copy. I'm looking at the words. And if I had not turned my TV at that time, I would not know anything about this because I have not heard anybody else talking about it. But the person who did the interview with Powell, she paused. She says, wait a minute, you create the money? And then he tried to backpedal. Sorry, there was not enough water for him to be backpedaling anything. So, what I am telling you all, if you start adding this information, start challenging them on where the funds came from. I don't want to hear it. You said you loaned me money. You said that I owe you money. I have a right to challenge your claim. Yes, I signed that, but that was with the statement that you gave me something of value. I did not receive anything of value. And I need to see that. Fair Debt Collections Practices Act gives me the right to demand you prove that I owe this debt. So I need to know where the funds came from. You subpoena their records. You want a copy of their comprehensive annual financial reports with reference to that transaction, and you want the reference notes, ledgers, and term definitions associated with that CAFR, Comprehensive Annual Financial Report. That's what you're asking for. And then those of you who are doing mortgages and you're in a court, subpoena the administrator of the court. You have a right to get subpoenas during any court case. So get a subpoena the head administrator of the court. Okay, you just got to call the court and ask who's the head administrator. To the head administrator of the court, demand that they provide proof that the court does not engage in commercial business. And then demand that they provide you a copy of their CAFR with the notes, ledgers, term definitions, and references. Okay? And then tell the court after you do this, because they're going to challenge you. They're going to want to request the subpoena. No, I have a right to request this information. You guys are claiming you have jurisdiction. I'm challenging your jurisdiction, and I have a right to provide proof that you don't have jurisdiction. The law says that you must prove you have jurisdiction. Well, with this information, you have a lot of proving to do, because you can't prove jurisdiction if you're doing commercial business. It's called the Clearfield Doctrine. First case being Plaintiff's Bank versus the Bank of Georgia. That was a nice case. Then you have the Smollett, whatever it is, case. But I focus on the Bank of Georgia because that's 1824. And that wonderful 1824 lets you know that this is a principle etched in law, that any time government engages in any commercial business, not just, well, this commercial business over here is not the same. Any commercial business, they willfully, doesn't put the word willfully there, I'm putting the word willfully, because it simply says they abandon, which means they do it intentionally by engaging in commercial business. They abandon their sovereign capacity and to be treated as any ordinary corporation. Anytime the court engages in commercial activity, that's why you need a copy of their CAFR, then they're not sovereign. They are not the court. Well, if they're not the court, what are they doing handling your case? Did they tell you that you had signed a contract when you filed your motion into the court, that you're agreeing, that you're submitting to their quote-unquote jurisdiction, that when you appear in court, look up the word appearance, do legal definition appearance or legal definition appear, and it means to submit to the court's jurisdiction. If you submit, that means you agree. That's why you have to say, well, I'm not submitting to the jurisdiction of the court. I'm doing this under threat. I'm doing this under protest. That's what UCC 1-308 was all about. The formal UCC 1-207. That's what that's all about. That's why you do it under protest. That's why you do it under reservation of rights. That's what that's for, so that no one puts you into a contract that you can't handle. Now, that we did that on mortgages, we always have to get back to the Federal Arbitration Act. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a mortgage contract in there. Those of you who have done it, even if you go to court and they rule against you, do not worry. They cannot get around that contract to save their lives. All you have to do is make sure you notify everybody. Everybody needs to understand this is for the long haul, not for the short term. Okay, the contract doesn't cost you anything. The only thing you're doing is taking and mailing it. You can hold on to that contract for the next 10 years, and the contract is still valid because there's no expiration date on that contract. The agreement is still the agreement. So send out that contract. It's called the redemption coupon contract. You can find it.
This call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
SAAlimited.com, and by going to SAAlimited.com and locating that redemption coupon contract, you'll notice that it has an assignment. There's an assignment in there. Pay attention to the law on assignment. If you don't understand assignment, just it's called equitable redemption. So just type that in YouTube and look for EON, and go to my channel and equitable redemption. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I have to go. This is a free phone call Wednesday, and there is somebody who is scheduled for the phone, so I got to get off. But I just wanted to get that information, so have a good day, have a good night, have a good life, and I will call back. Goodbye.
Okay.